everyone, and welcome back to my channel. My name is Aaliyah, and today we are finally doing part 2 of my princess redesign video. I just want to thank you all for being so patient. This took me a while because school has been crazy and I'm just a really slow drawer, but thank you for waiting, and thank you so much for all of the love on my last video. I honestly just can't believe how well it did, and everyone in the comments was so kind and just thank you. Today we'll be looking at Ariel from 1989, Belle from 1991, and Jasmine from 1992. Now, I know a lot less about fashion from these eras, so this was definitely interesting. I had to do a lot more research, and I know some people were a little mad that it wasn't totally year specific, so this time, hopefully, I tried to make it very year specific, so we'll see how it goes. Let me know what you all think, and let's get into it. So The Little Mermaid came out in 1989, and I knew I wanted to focus on teen fashion for Ariel. Some of the princesses feel more elegant and mature, while others are more fun and bubbly. Ariel definitely falls into the fun and bubbly camp, so I thought she would suit something more youthful. Like I said earlier, I wanted to make it more year specific, so I watched some videos of high schoolers from 1989 and I looked for fashion and hair trends, but then I saw this layered jean skirt while I was searching up outfits on Google, and it sort of reminded me of a mermaid tail, so I thought it was perfect. I'm not 100% sure it's accurate, but I thought it just worked so well for the vibe that I wanted to give her. In terms of the rest of her outfit, I noticed that a lot of these skirts either had jean ruffles or fabric ruffles, so I decided to give her a jean part on the top and then fabric ruffles on the bottom. And I also noticed while I was doing my research that denim on denim was a big thing. I really loved that, and I also love the look of the acid wash denim. So to match the jean sort of drop waist part of her skirt, I gave her a jean jacket, which I think looks so cute. And then to finish off her look, I gave her a top with a high neckline like this and some little slouch boots. I mentioned this in my last video, but for the backgrounds, I'm adding in their Disney World signature and some little embellishments on the edge because I thought it looked pretty boring without it, and I've really been enjoying trying to attempt signatures. It's lots of fun. I definitely think Ariel's hair in the movie is totally 80s inspired and not really a fantasy look, but I wanted to draw big fun hair really badly, so I gave her these big curls and then tried to emulate the bangs that she had in the movie. I added some big hoop earrings as well. I just think Ariel would have a really fun fashion sense. I wanted her outfit to be very cute, but not necessarily super formal because I think she would spend a lot of time outside exploring, so I kept it casual. This is like unbelievably off topic, but I think if I was an adult in the 80s, I would be an aerobics instructor. I just feel like called to be an aerobics instructor, but I don't think anything like that exists. Maybe like Zumba is the closest, but the outfits are a requirement. Sometimes I like to just watch old videos that people have uploaded to YouTube of the aerobics workouts and do them because like they're just so fun and energetic, and I could totally see myself being an aerobics instructor. Maybe I should bring it back. But yeah, that's just my random anecdote. I think about it often. In terms of her skin, I made it very orange, but you know what? It's okay because I think Ariel would spend a ton of time by the beach, so she's very tanned, and I kind of like how it looks. I feel like it adds some charm. For her hair, I thought I didn't have any red ink. It turns out I did, but I used the Bingo Dabber, you know, the ones that you get at the dollar store? I took the ink from that, and I actually really love the color, so it worked out. Her shirt is obviously purple to match the little shells that she wears in the movie. I wanted this drawing to have a bit of a different look to it, something very 80s, like the Barbie illustrations at the time, or like I spoke about in my last video, illustrations that were on sewing patterns. I definitely think I was able to achieve this look, surprisingly, because I didn't have an action plan on what I was going to do, but I love how she turned out. I definitely want to try out this style again because it was so much fun. In my last video, someone gave me some advice to scan the drawings rather than take photos of them, which was a great recommendation because it did come out looking more professional, but the colors were a bit warped and everything was very defined and not smooth. I'm wondering if anyone has a solution for that. And I would also love to know how traditional artists get pictures of their artwork to sell them as prints, because I don't know if you guys would maybe be interested in prints after I finish all of these. And I would also just like to get nice pictures of the illustrations because I can't really do that when the edges get curled up because I have to crop it all weird, and the scans didn't turn out quite right either. So yeah, I'm not really sure what to do about that. But anyway, I decided to make her skirt green, obviously, to match her tail in the movie. I was a bit worried about the jacket because she doesn't technically wear blue, so I thought it might not fit. I had nothing to worry about though because I do think I was able to get the acid wash look, and since blue is the color of the ocean, it still worked with Ariel's theming and came across as pretty cohesive. I really like how she turned out. I feel like she looks like so much fun. Okay, now on to Belle. I think when I was doing my princesses in the last video, I had a very clear vision for what I wanted each of them to wear. These ones I definitely did not. I found Belle to be a bit more difficult because when I looked up 1991 fashion on Google or Pinterest, I was not getting the results I wanted. They were not very specific and none of them were dated. But then I found this website that had old Sears and JCPenney catalogs dating all the way back to 1930, and they had almost every year. So the website was called Catalogs and Wish Books, I believe. It was so fun to look through. I highly recommend. I'll link it in the description. But this helped a ton because now there would be no question about their accuracy. It sort of felt like I was shopping for Belle, which I loved, and I was looking for outfits that were still feminine but very cozy. I don't think Belle would be the type to try and be fashionable, but I think she'd be kind of effortlessly chic. I read that 90s fashion began shifting to more minimalist styles, though the early 90s still felt very 80s. And I know that oversized clothes were a big thing too. And I definitely wanted to give Belle a nice sweater, something that she could sit and read in. When I found this outfit, I thought it would be perfect for Belle if it was in yellow. It's exactly what I imagined, the coziness, but also still very fashionable, and the roses were the perfect touch as well. It's sort of a grandma outfit, but I think the model pulls it off, so Belle can too. I would imagine she's wearing these Brazilian leather shoes, and I would have drawn them if I wasn't allergic to fitting a full body on a page. I got some advice on how to fix this problem, and I do know about the 8 head strategy. I don't know. I feel like I just get so far into the pose and I think it's gonna fit, and then it doesn't, but I don't want to erase it and retry. It'll just take practice, but I do think I did a better job this time with fitting the feet in. In life drawing class at school, which is my absolute worst class, I'm just terrible at it, I always struggle with making the figure too big or too small. So I think this is definitely something that will take a long time to fix. Oh my goodness, I did not know what to do with her hair because I think that Belle's heart-shaped hairline is very iconic and it wouldn't look like her if she didn't have that. But at the same time, while looking through the catalogs, I saw a whole lot of side parts and nothing else. So she's just wearing her hair down and unstyled. I don't think it reads as very 90s, but I also couldn't think of a solution. So yeah, hopefully that's okay. I got a lot of questions about what ink I was using, so I'm using the Winsor Newton drawing ink. I believe it's the set of 8. And I also got a lot of questions about the difference between ink and watercolor because they do look similar, but ink is definitely more opaque than watercolor, which I really like. It doesn't lift off the page as easily when water is added to it. When adding another layer of paint over watercolor, the pigment tends to lift if it's not fully dry, but with ink you can easily layer without having that issue. I guess that can be a downside for some people as well because it is far more permanent. And I find that you have to lay the color down really quickly or you'll start to see streaks. I only started using ink fairly recently, so I'm definitely still exploring, and how permanent it is has affected my drawing sometimes, especially in these ones because of the white skirts. I've added too much gray and there's nothing I can do about that. I do it to Jasmine as well, so that's pretty disappointing. I am pretty confident in saying that I do like ink better than watercolor though. We've been painting with watercolor in class, and while I've used it before, it's going absolutely terribly. So I definitely have something against watercolor right now, and I prefer like the opaqueness, I guess, of ink. I like how it looks more finished than watercolor, and I think it works for these sorts of vintage illustrations. Anyway, I do like how she turned out. I'll always have a soft spot for Belle because I got to play her in my grade 12 musical, and that was just the most wonderful experience. Oh my goodness, I had such a hard time finding an outfit for Jasmine. Some people asked why I wasn't doing the outfits accurate to the country that the characters would have lived in. I think that's a fun idea for another video. I definitely want to do historically accurate Disney princess designs. Has that been done to death? Yes, but I still want to do it. Maybe I'll make them very simple, something that could have been used in animation, but still accurate. I know Jasmine is definitely a pretty big offender in terms of inaccuracy because she's kind of just like a mishmash of different cultures, so I think it would be fun to give her a more historically accurate and culturally accurate design. For this series though, I'll probably just keep it consistent and they'll be wearing American fashion from the time. I definitely do think Jasmine would be someone who is very fashionable, which is why I was having a difficult time. Obviously I wanted to give her pants because she wears them in her original outfit, but all the pants I found in the catalogs were pretty ugly. At least not fashionable. Everything was very plain and kind of simplistic. None of the outfits I saw felt like they had much personality, and I wanted the outfit to feel very Jasmine. I didn't just want to slap her in some random lousy pair of pants. So I was kind of stuck after this year's catalog had nothing for me. So I started to look on Pinterest again, and I found this sewing pattern, and I just thought it was so perfect. But I didn't know when it was from. I looked up pant skirt 1992 and I did find some sewing patterns labeled 1992. So yay! I really thought the look in the original pattern I found suited her with the floral pants and the off-the-shoulder top. The bangles looked really nice as well, so I kind of just took that outfit, and in terms of hair, there were lots of side parts, but Jasmine has a middle part that I think is pretty iconic, and there were also lots of like bobs, neither of which suited her. Maybe I should have just given her a bob or cut her hair a little to make it look more accurate, but I sort of just gave her the bangs that I saw in a lot of the styles. I don't think this looks right, like at all. So I kind of wish I did something else and tried a few more hairstyles on her to see if that would have helped have it read as 90s. But yeah, unfortunately, I just went with this. At first, I was going to make her whole outfit teal, just like it was in the movie, but I realized that would look sort of costumey, which wasn't really what I was going for. I wanted Belle and Jasmine to also have a different look that I was seeing in the catalogs and pattern drawings. Something a little bit more mature. I'm not sure if I'm as happy with these two because I don't think I was able to achieve that distinct look. I kind of fell back on my own style, which I think stopped especially Jasmine from looking straight out of a specific year. I went with teal for her pants, and then I wanted to do some white jasmine flowers to pull in her white top. I do like this idea and I'm happy about how it turned out. It definitely reminds me of the illustration that I was basing it off, at least the pants do. I maybe could have held back a little bit on the gray like I mentioned in my Belle section, but yeah, I'm pretty happy with her. Alright, and those are our princesses. I do like how these turned out. I'm not as in love with them as last time, but I think maybe that's just because I'm not as big as a fan of the fashion. But anyway, let me know what you guys think. Hopefully it was fairly accurate. And I think in my next video, I'll do a tour of my vintage wardrobe. I went to the Toronto vintage fashion sale this weekend and I found so many wonderful things. So I'm very excited to show everyone. And today I thought I'd do a kind of 80s look. It's not really the same style that I drew Ariel in, but this blouse is the only piece of 80s fashion that I own. So today I feel like I'm giving 80s secretary. This is like the full outfit. But yeah, I'd like to get more 80s fashion. I really want like one of the like tacky prom dresses, specifically a pink one. I found one once and it was just like perfect, but it was a bit too big. I maybe should have just bought it and got it altered. But anyway, I hope you liked my video. Don't forget to like and subscribe and have a magical rest of your day. Bye-bye! Also, I forgot to add, I know this is sort of annoying to ask, but my last video really flopped. So if you could go watch it, if the topic interests you, I would really appreciate it because I worked hard on it and it's something I'm very passionate about. So yeah, anyway, officially, bye!